Hey everybody, how you doing? I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from the Black Business School. I just read the story today about New York Knicks forward Derrick Williams, who was allegedly robbed in his own home. According to Williams, it was right after a game in which they played the Philadelphia 76ers, and he invited a few friends over after going to the club, after celebrating at the club, and he hung out with a couple of women who he claims used false names. And the 24-year-old New York Knicks player found that these women had gone into a Louis Vuitton bag and stolen $750,000 worth of jewelry from him, $750,000 worth of bling. And so it's interesting. I'm looking at Williams. He's not a star. He's signed a 2-year, $8.8 million deal to be a backup forward for the Knicks. I feel bad for the brother. I really do. I hate to see anybody just lose their money like that. But I have to really talk about this from a financial standpoint. These are some of the things we talk about in the Black Wealth Boot Camp in terms of understanding money, respecting your money, making sure your money respects you, and respecting yourself in the process. Now, he's young. He's 24. So it's not a matter of going in on his brother because I think that he's a kid, and kids do silly stuff. I know that I did when I was that age. I don't know if I was that silly per se, but I made, we all make mistakes. But here are a couple of things that I wanted to share, just kind of as a human being, as a black man, and as a finance professor. Number one, you really don't need to have $750,000 worth of jewelry. I mean, really think about how crazy that is. The man makes $4 million a year. $750,000 worth of jewelry. Let's say he brings home $2 million. So that means you have about what's that? About 40% of your annual salary is locked up in jewelry. That right there is just a little strange. That just shows, just very poor spending habits, very bad financial decisions. And it also says something about your value systems, our value systems as a community when it comes to throwing our money away. We love to give our money right back to the white man. The same white people who won't give your black ass a job, same white people who beat you, lynched you, raped your great grandmother, who gentrify your communities and take Big Mama's house. The same people who hate your guts and don't respect you. You make a little bit of money, you give it right back over nonsense. I mean, somebody really has to really train a young person's mind to believe that the best move they can make with that much money is to buy a bunch of jewels. Now, of course, some people say, oh, but you can sell jewelry back and blah, blah, blah. I'm sorry, but jewelry that you wear on your body is not usually a great investment item, and most people don't buy it for investment purposes. They buy it so they can be flashy. They buy it so they can show off. They buy it so that somehow they can gain some sort of status or esteem that they feel that they gain by giving all their money right back to the white man, which doesn't make you, it might make you look like a man of status to people who don't understand money. But if you're trying to holler at one of my daughters and you're a dude rolling up with $700,000 worth of jewelry, they're going to make fun of you. They're going to laugh and wonder, what is wrong with you? You should be putting that money down on a house. You should be putting that money into other investments. That money should be in the stock market. That money should be supporting a black business. You can at least build a school. You have people out here raising money to build schools for black children, but you hear athletes all the time brag about spending hundreds of thousands of dollars in the strip club, but these same dudes will not go and spend, $1,000 buying books. That's a mental illness. That's truly sick. I mean, that's truly a product of really, really dysfunctional values. That's really a product of horrifically low self-esteem, and various forms of tremendous, almost sickening financial illiteracy. Some would say financial ignorance, but I don't believe these guys are stupid. I don't. I believe that in many cases, they're just trained to believe that ignorance is the way to go. I mean, so that part is strange to me. It's disappointing to me. I don't understand it. It is what it is. Here's the second thing. This is just a piece of advice for anybody who just wants to keep their money. The first rule of wealth building is don't give all your money away. That's the rule that we will start with. here's something that people with money understand. When you get money, only a fool wants everybody to know how much money they got. Only a fool brags about the money because somehow having money on being on the come up makes them look better to other people. It makes other people look up to them and they're proud of that and they feel good about themselves and they're like, look at me, bling, 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 bling. People that really got money don't really flaunt their money like that because they know what the limitations come with it. They know that when you flaunt your money like that, you become a target. When you go around driving the biggest car and having the hottest gold watch and the biggest chain and the biggest house and the nicest, flyest clothes and all of that, you don't understand who might be watching you. Not just thieves. I mean, thieves are going to be there. I'm talking about the vultures in your own family. I'm talking about the people that could use a little something to be put on the rent, who need a little money to help them recover from some financial mistake that they've made in their lives, who need money for a better car, who need to borrow money because they just came up a little short this month, who are going to leverage your friendship and put tremendous amounts of pressure on you incessantly, every day, all the time, asking you for money. Don't make yourself into a target. That's the crazy thing to me. I mean, when I first got a little bit of money, I was proud. I walk around like, yeah, look at me. I'm Dr. Watkins and I'm doing well. And I wasn't making millions, but I was making six figures, in my first job. I was proud of that. But I learned real quick, when you start bragging to people about how much money you got, first thing they're going to be thinking is, how do I borrow that? How do I get a piece of that? So eventually I learned to be modest with, just no different from a girl with a sexy body. Most women that have nice body parts, most women who don't need men hounding them, they cover it up a little bit. They're like, no, you got to earn the chance to see all of this. I'm not going to show this to everybody. Now, some people, they got their own style or whatever it is, what it is. But, in general, if you don't want people hounding you, then you don't flaunt what you got. The last thing I'll say on this, and this is something that I learned from when I used to work at AOL Black Voices. I had a woman that called me and told me this story about a hustle that a very small percentage of women in the sex trade industry are now using to take advantage of the financial ignorance of athletes. They understand that these guys, these ballers, these guys that got $1 million contracts, these guys that got all this money, they understand they like women, and they like to flaunt. They like to show off. They like showing everybody how much money they got. And so now some women have made these men into their targets. They've made these men into the targets for robbery of various forms, for extortion. I heard a horrible story about a group of 3 girls. They were aged 15, 17, and 19. The 19-year-old was the ringleader. They ran a prostitution house where all they do is have sex with men all day and get paid for it. Well, the 19-year-old would seduce men and get them to come back to the hotel room with her, and she would put something in their drink. And when the man took the drink, thinking, oh, it's just, I'm about to go hit this man, I'm about to go have sex with this girl. It's like the 80th girl I had this year, whatever. Okay, you think you're the man? Okay, well, you know what? Take a drink of this. So they take a drink, the man would pass out, boom, like some old Bill Cosby type stuff. And when the men were asleep, she would take pictures of the men in the bed with the 15-year-old. So when the man woke up, they would basically blackmail him and say, we got these pictures of you in bed with an underage girl, and if you don't give us money, we will mail these pictures to your team, we'll mail them to the media, and we will mail them to your wife. That was their hustle. So whenever the ballers came into town, rappers, athletes, just these dudes that like to just show off, that like to throw their money away and give it right back to white people, just throw it in the air, just show everybody how much they got. And then they like jump offs, like just the women that'll sleep with them that night. They would just target those guys, and they made tens of thousands of dollars like that, maybe hundreds of thousands. So, young brothers have to understand, you're not the only predator out here. You're not the only one who's making a conquest. Now you are becoming the conquest, and they have that old saying that a fool and his money will always part ways. Most guys that get that kind of money, who don't have any kind of financial literacy, any kind of common sense, any kind of awareness about them, end up getting took. So don't get taken. That's all I'm going to say. Well, I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from the Black Business School. If you want to take a low-cost, high-quality class on financial literacy, check out theblackbusinessschool.com. We got everything you ever need. So talk to you guys soon. I love every one of you. Bye-bye.